Hello my devs. Sorry, I had a cat scratch on my arm. Today I'm going to share with you guys something that's a little bit tragic, and I'm deciding to share it with you because I think that it's really important, especially with everything else that was going on. Sorry, fidgety today. So I recently had a birthday. Yes, thank you for saying happy birthday to me. So it kind of hit me a little bit more around my birthday than I thought it was going to. You know, hopefully that'll make more sense. But this birthday really meant a lot to me. I got a little emotional the morning of my birthday, which I thought was really weird. But either way, so the story is, 8 years ago on Father's Day, or the day after Father's Day, I think it was, which, you know, by the way, back, you know, Father's Day was always a bigger deal than Mother's Day. Like, you know, I always see now people are complaining about, like, oh, Mother's Day, but what about Father's Day? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Well, whenever I was younger, Father's Day was a bigger deal. It was more of a grander, I don't know, whatever, because of my stepfather, right? So, I had made him, like, a steak dinner or whatever else, and he had gotten gifts and everything like that. And he was really happy. He was very pleased with himself, you know, like, because he's a dick, and whatever. And I don't really recall what happened that next day. I know that we were fighting for some reason. Like, I know that I was in a fight with him. Don't know what I did, but obviously I had done something wrong. So he sent me, like, we had fought like all day or all night or something like that, so he was like, you know, go to the room, take a nap, whatever. I don't fucking know. I really don't know how it happened. All I know is that I went into the room to take a nap, and before I went to the room, I went to the restroom, and there was a bottle of Benadryl on the counter, and I was like, well, this is my life. I think it was like 17, about to be 18, or I had just turned 17, because Father's Day is after my birthday. So I think I had just turned 17 that year, or something along those lines. And, you know, at 18, I don't know if I told you guys this or not, but, like, he always said, when you turn 18, you know, we're gonna run away and become a family, and you're gonna raise your youngest brother as if he's your own, and all this other shit, like, because he's fucking crazy. And so I think, yeah, I think it was around that time, and I was just, like, really depressed, and, you know, I wasn't looking forward to turning 18. Anyway, so I saw the bottle of Benadryl, and I was like, well, could just take all of this and go to sleep and never wake up. And so I did. I took most of it. I didn't want to take all of it, because I didn't want somebody to realize that there was a lot missing and wonder where it went. And then, so yeah, so I took some of it, and then I went into the room, and I don't know why, but for whatever reason, he had, like, Vicodin and, a muscle relaxant. Like, I don't know, I think he had pulled out, because he was always getting hurt, and he was always in need of medical attention, and he was always in need of somebody to take care of him, and I think he had, like, pulled out his back, or, like, hurt his shoulder or some crap, so he had Vicodin and muscle relaxers in the room. And I was like, well, you know, I will take some of those as well, you know, because Benadryl alone won't do it, I'm sure. And I think I laugh, it's not funny, but I took, hold that thought, I took maybe 1 or 2 of the Vicodin, because I don't like the way that Vicodin makes me feel. So, and I remember thinking that whenever I took it, and then I also took 1 or 2 of the muscle relaxants, because I don't want to hurt myself too much. But obviously I was taking these things to attempt to kill myself, so I don't understand where that thought process came into it, but it did. And it's not funny, but it's interesting to look back on it now, and you know, to think about all the, you know, what your mind goes through in that moment. So I took down I took those pills, and I laid down to go to take a nap, you know, and as I laid there, you know, I prayed, which was weird because I don't pray. So I prayed, and I said my mental goodbyes, like, you know, I said, you know, goodbye to my family and to my friends and to my future husband and my future children, which I would never have. It was all a little dramatic, but I said, I said my goodbyes, and when I prayed, I was like, please let this be, assigned to somebody, and, let this, let him not just bury my body in the backyard or something, like, let this actually be something that happens, and they look into it, and maybe my siblings can get out, because I'm not going to, because I won't be here, right, that kind of thought process. So, and then, I woke up in a hospital bed, and, I was hallucinating, and I was confused, and I was scared, and I looked around the room, and I saw my stepfather, and of course he had the fear in his eyes, right? He was like, I don't know, I will never know if he was actually fearful for my life, or if he was fearful that this would be the thing that did him in, that this would be the thing that made people notice that there was something wrong in the family, and notice that there was something going on that shouldn't be going on. So anyway, so I don't know where the fear was, and then I looked over and I saw my mom, and I saw the sadness and the fear, and the relief in my mom's eyes. So I saw that she was very sad, that this was happening, and she was fearful that I wouldn't be the same, but I also saw that she was very relieved that I woke up and that I was alive. So I'm pretty sure that I have already, but I would also like to take this moment to apologize to my mom, because, I know now that she, would have done everything in her power to make sure that we were okay and to help us in that situation. And I'm really sorry that I never trusted you then, and that I never shared any of this with you. And I'm also very sorry that I did what I did, because I could not imagine what that would have done to my family and to my mom, and I'm very sorry that I almost stopped being on this earth, and I'm very glad that I am here. That is definitely, I'm so happy that it didn't work. I'm so happy that I woke up in that hospital bed. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was a little upset at the time, because I was like, damn, like, I thought that was the only way out. I thought, this was going to go on forever, and I thought that, there was no way out. So I was a little upset whenever I woke up, but, being out of it and looking back, like, that is one of the biggest mistakes of my life. I'm so glad that it didn't work. I'm, so happy for that. So doctors came and went, checking on me, running tests to see what damage had been done, and I was honestly lucky. Like, my kidneys and my liver were, a little messed up, but not as bad as they could have been. And then I again, at the time, I didn't feel lucky, because I knew as soon as I was out of the hospital, I would just go back home into the hellhole that it was, into the beatings and the assault and all that other stuff. It would still go on, and it would still happen. But they sent in a social worker, or therapist. I'm really not quite sure what she was. Like, I was still out of it. Like, I remember kind of what she looked like, but I don't remember her name, and I don't really remember what she looked like, and I don't remember what we talked about. Like, I don't remember all the things that she asked me. All I know is that I remember she asked me why I did it. She asked me if I was trying to hurt myself. She asked me if I was happy. She asked me if I had a boyfriend, and then she asked me if I was pregnant. I think they were just trying to figure out what would make a 17-year-old girl try to snuff out her own life, which I totally understand. But, it was just, I don't know, it just wasn't the questions that I needed to be asked at the time, I guess. I feel like maybe if I was asked the right questions, maybe I would have been honest, but I doubt it. So, I told her that, no, I wasn't trying to hurt myself, no, I was just tired, whatever, I don't know. And I wanted to tell her the truth, and I really almost did. I was, and I was crying. Like, I remember crying and answering her questions, and I was still out of it. Like, I was still freaking out of it. I was still groggy. I was still, my judgment was cloudy. Like, the effects of, so I don't know if y'all know this, but, like, Benadryl, like, makes you hallucinate. Like, if you take Benadryl and you take a lot of it, yeah, it's supposed to, it like puts you to sleep or whatever, or at least it does to me. I don't know if it does to anybody else. I could take one Benadryl and be out for like a day. But if you stay up on it, or if like, like, it makes you hallucinate. And so I kept calling the doctor who kept coming in to see me, Dr. Colin, from the Twilight books. So I feel like that alone should have been like, hey, probably don't send somebody in there to ask her what's going on in her life right now. Maybe she needs a little more time to get everything out of her system. I don't know, whatever. So I wanted to tell her the truth, and I looked over, and like in the hospital, it wasn't just like a closed room, like there's a window, like, well, I don't know if you know, I don't know. But the room and then the wall and the door were like, it was just glass, it was clear glass. And just outside the room sat my stepfather and my mom and them, and I look over and he's looking at me with like the fear in his eyes again, and I panicked and I lied and I didn't say what was going on, and I cried the whole time. I really cried the whole time, and she left and she never came back, and I wish that she had, honestly, and I wish that they had waited for me to be more coherent. But ultimately, I really wish that I had told her the truth. If I had, it would have been the whole story would be different if I had. I wouldn't be sitting here telling you guys about how, the cops don't care, and I wouldn't be telling you guys about, how it went on and this and that. Like, it would have been over then, and he would have been arrested, and it would have been that, and, I don't know, that's just one of the biggest regrets that I have in that situation. But yeah, and I don't know, like, I want to go back to the hospital and be like, hey, so a couple of years ago, well, not a couple of years ago, it's been 8 years, I just want to be like, hey, so when you have somebody come in here have attempted to overdose for death, probably don't send somebody in there until they're extremely coherent about the situation, because I was not, and there's no way that somebody could have sat back and been like, she's coherent, she's good, yes, go in there and talk to her. I don't understand. I just don't understand. Still don't understand that one. Been pondering it a bit, but I don't know. Again, I'm forever so very grateful that whatever went right in that situation went right. And I say went right because it's not a solution. It's not, I'm sorry, one of these days I will not cry in these videos, I promise. So to me, like, suicide it hits home to me, right? Because I attempted it, I know what it's like to be in that situation, to feel like that's the only way out. But I also am lucky enough that it didn't work. And so I can sit back and say, and I don't regret it not working. And I regret trying it, I regret trying it because it could have worked, and that would have been, terrible and horrible, and it wouldn't have solved anything. It would have solved nothing. It just isn't worth it. So the past 7.5 years of my life have been the greatest. God dang it. I was like, I'm gonna hold off on this video, and here we are. I wish I had known then what I know now. Like, I wish I would have known back then, hey, go to your mom, it would be okay. Or, hey, tell whoever that lady is that's sitting in there asking you all these questions, tell her what's happening, it'll be okay. I wish, oh God, I do regret trying to kill myself. I really, really do, because, it's not the answer, and I didn't deserve it. If anybody deserves to die, that would be him. He's the one who deserves to die, not me. So I do regret it, but I don't regret the insight that it gave me. I understand how things feel in that moment, and I understand, what can lead someone to think that that's the only way out. But I do want to say that it does get better. It will get better. And I can honestly say that it's not the only option. I know that it feels that way. And I know that whenever you're that young, it feels like that's going to go on forever. Like, I never understood that. I never understood why it felt like it was going to go on forever. Y'all, I have 5 cats, and I want y'all to know that they get into everything. So, no, they're okay. They're fine. Y'all, does anybody want a cat? I'm kidding. I can't get rid of my cats. I love my cats. But yeah, what was I saying? You know, so I understand, I get it, and in that mindset, you know, I was 17. I didn't know how to rationalize properly, and I was, you know, stunted, obviously, because I had started whenever I was 13. So imagine being, you know, that young and thinking that this shit was going to be the rest of your life, and you have somebody constantly telling you that, hey, when you become old enough that you can get your own self out of it. Just kidding, you're not going to get your own self out of it. I'm going to marry you and we're going to run away together. And that's just depressing. I don't know about you, but that's really depressing, or it was really depressing to me. So I wish you guys all nothing but health, happiness, love, and of course support. And if you ever need anyone to talk to, I'm here. All of my contact information is linked in the video, linked in the information below. And of course there's millions of resources out there. All you have to do is just Google search it. It's everywhere. Or just go to somebody that you trust. Just talk to someone, you know, let them know how you're feeling. And you know, you don't know me and I don't know you, and so there's the anonymous thing. But also, I'm going to add information for you to reach out to, for people for who you can reach out to. No matter how dark life can get, I am here to tell you that it can be so bright and beautiful. Yes, those were the darkest years of my life, and yet here I am 7.5 years later, and I've had the most amazing 7.5 years of my life. I found some amazing people. I found an amazing therapist. I found 5 beautiful cats, you know, that I love so much, even though they get into everything and interrupt videos and things. I have an amazing supportive boyfriend. I have, you know, all of these things that could have not been if it had worked 7 years, and I don't want it to. I didn't want it to. Again, I will forever be grateful for that. Of course, it was a little rough there at the end because I was still in it until I was 18, so what is that, like 8 months? Still in it for 8 months? Those 8 months kind of sucked, but everything else was just beautiful. And it's just amazing, and it's wonderful. And even though I've had ups and downs in my life, I wouldn't change it for the world. I really wouldn't. So don't ever think that there is only one way out of a situation. Don't ever think that it's the only option that you have, because it's not. And the world would not be the same without you. And I, for one, wouldn't want the world to be different because you're not in it. So until next time, my doves, everything is linked in the whatever this is down here in the description. I don't know. There are wonderful resources out there. So yeah, that's all I've got for you guys. It's been a pleasure. Maybe next time I won't cry. At least it wasn't as bad as the last video. Oh, and this one is chapter 8 of the story. Chapter 7 is on my blog. I didn't feel like making a video for it because it was more kind of just a rant. But anywho's or what's it's again. And my cats are calling me, I'm sorry. Until next time, my doves, have a happy, beautiful life. And remember that it does get better. It really, really, truly does.